Hi and welcome to the edCafe. This is your host Mansi, and today we have a very versatile guest with us. Please welcome Mr. Nitin Bhatia, Director Schools of DPSG in Haryana and Director IT across the DPSG. Mr. Nitin has a deeply engaged and diversified track record of over 19 years in retail operations, B2B, EdTech and project management. A strategic thinker and a hands-on operation leader with a keen eye in the detailings and the growth. Starting with the very first question of mine, sir, how do you define the digital transformation in the context of education institution, and why do you feel it is important?
Well, I say that digital transformation is not going to be sector or segment specific.
Exactly.
Right. And education is the most important foundational domain of the society. It's where, we have all evolved.
Exactly.
The social setup of any country, nation, state is very much kind of a byproduct of educational setup that society has. And so when you say digital transformation is going to be here as well. And more so if you look at it, today's generations and children that we see, they are so comfortable with it, and they're starting so early. I mean, like today baby is born and I'm seeing while they being fed with milk or anything, mothers are showing them reels and TikToks to really keep them calm and good to go. So your touch point of the technology is already done. Now, how can you undo that part of life? So these kids in this generation in last about a couple of years, especially so after the COVID, has anyway evolved with the digital transformation in their outlook, in their mind space. So there it is. We deal with children. We are in the K-12 segment specialist. So we can't do away with that, or we can't ignore that at all. So this is going to be part of the complete education setup going forward.
Yeah, and as you just talked about, the parents feeding their student, like their kid, while they are watching something on YouTube or maybe reels and TikToks. Like what I've experienced, as I've seen, like students nowadays, like a class 5th student talking about coding. Like when I was in class 5th, we were not talking about codings. I'm after the digital transformation that we have seen, I have seen these things that students are getting involved in things like back-end codings, developing, or if we talk about trading, if we talk about business strategies, and we have seen them getting these ideas, innovations through the YouTube platform itself, through the social media platform itself. So I would just say one thing, and that is, like, do you think that social media platform has played a vital role in these students in getting some knowledges? And of course we talk about the pros and cons of the social media handling these students when we talk about in the education sectors. So what do you have to say, like, is it a bliss for the students if we talk about social medias and the technologies that they're using? And even if we talk about AI segmentations that we have seen, like ChatGPT and all the other AI platforms that we are building. So do you think that this is a bliss for the student, or is this a disguise?
Well, to answer the first part of the question, you said when the age 5 or class 5 users said, and they're talking about coding. So it's very normal. So you look yourself when you were age 5 or class 5, if I'm getting the right question, you were doing something which your parents did not do.
Exactly.
And your parents were doing at age 5 or class 5 something which their parents did not do. So the setup, I think technology is not something new. You're watching television possibly in the daytime, which was not in my generation, where we were watching a music channel like Chitrahar once in a week, to watching anything as a prime time, to it becoming involved as a complete bouquet of channels all through the day, to becoming OTT. So technology is evolving for all these years, and people will start behaving and start reacting to it. That's the part which you just said. So it's very normal. Second part is, to you it may sound coding as complex, but to them, because they are so fresh in their minds, they will absorb everything which is going to come.
Exactly.
That's part 2 to it. And part 3 that you said, with so many things in the space, chat GPT to, so many tools which are available now, you will tend to live it. I mean, just imagine today a vegetable vendor to a rickshaw puller to who hasn't possibly even gone to school uses QR code to accept the payment. Who taught you the WhatsApp to be used? Who guided us, these people, to use Facebook and Instagrams and start selling on Facebook and using the platform? So it is just that this is going to be part of your life. Accept it.
Yeah.
And this is what I tell to the parents, because sooner that you adopt it, the better it is for you. Because what is happening is, this is in an information super age. Your children are living 10 years ahead of you.
Exactly.
Right? And in that race of life, they are inching far ahead than you, because you are not able to keep the pace, because your education setup was something which gave you a very confined way of learning things, very set things of understanding what is good and bad in life, what is doable, what is not doable. So you had your limitations set with the education setup that we all came in from. And in the last 5 or 7 years, the educational system has become more inquiry-based learning.
Exactly.
You're critical thinkers, you question everything. And so what happens is, in this generation, they are experimenting with a lot of things, right? Now when you do that, your learning curve is far ahead of your parents. So a parent, or for that matter, even the teacher, even the teaching setup in the school setup is not equipped to handle it, because you can't have a teacher who would come down, and because she has also been a product of the same school system, to tell her from the book, this is it, this is the life, this is the boundary. People are questioning the boundary, and the students there in the class is far more informed on that subject, or it can get more informed on the same subject right sitting in that class in a 5-second basis.
Yeah.
So teachers, parents have to become more coach. You have to adopt it alongside with them, befriend them, and once you have befriended them, you kind of then become a peer group with them, and then you can possibly sail them through what I say is the dark side of technology. Because today it has become very democratic.
Exactly.
You don't have to line up to a studio to become a star today.
Exactly.
You shoot your own documentary, go ahead and do it. I had this, when I say this documentary and becoming a star, this this girl who's singing some kind of weird songs, Pinky something, I don't know what was his name. So as weird it can be, but it's so popular, and so you have got reels after reels. You see there are people getting viral, they're becoming celebrities in their own way, shooting at home. They're writers, they're vloggers, they're travel vloggers, name it, and you have
like thousands
absolutely unhindered, unbiased, no middlemen, direct to the customer approach, like with the technology coming into place. Yeah. You don't have to go to publishing house to set up your book. You don't have to go to a studio to line up and apply to before your talent world sees your talent. You have a talent, show it to the world, and you become popular tomorrow.
Exactly.
So technology has good side and flip sides. Flip side is, and the dark side is, we have suicide rates happening with school children. I was there in the article in Economic Times the other day. Depressions, related problems, ADH issues, which is...
Yeah, so as I'm sorry to interrupt you, as you said, that's ADHD issues and anxiety and depression. So this is happening, like what I have experienced as being a Gen Z. We are more tended towards the lifestyle, the social lifestyle that we have seen. Like we want अगर मैं कुछ पोस्ट कर रही हूँ तो I should have that social status, you know, I should have that phone, the car, and these things, just because of this thing I have seen कि students के अंदर एक, you know, like lack of confidence, I can say, or maybe you know, they just point their parents out ki why can't you just give us these things. So do you think ki like these social media platforms has created a lot of things into when we talk about the mental health issue for the students?
This is what I was mentioning,
yeah.
You know, that this generation is running ahead of their parents.
Yeah.
So because of you're so informed, your learning has compressed. Today, a 10-year-old kid has more information, rather more informed than possibly 30 years or 40 years old
exactly.
man. Now your mental state has reached there, but your physical body is this here,
yeah.
right? And then you're not able to really demarcate, and your mind is not able to decipher between what you see as a glamorous onto Apple shot or a best of the camera shot video, and you think that's a reality.
Yeah.
So there's a differential. You know, getting as many followers to your post is becoming a social status, and you know, it's becoming a talk of you know, to prove a point between the kids. So where is it all coming from? These are the issues which possibly we have no answers today, because there's no censorship to the technology.
Exactly.
They have become dangerous to the point that they are possibly even you know, to the point of the governments are facing it very, very challenging, because governments of the day can even fall, because if you have a rumor widespread, and there's the first thing they shut down is internet.
Internet, exactly.
Because this is under nobody control. Now this is a double-edged sword. While it is enabling you, it is also creating a lot of disasters in terms of it, because the moment you censor it, it doesn't become free at all.
Free at all, yeah.
So, well, that's something I don't have an answer to it, and I think nobody has the answer to it. And we are living in a world where it's so hard to predict the future tomorrow, because things are changing by months to weeks to even hours, you know.
Yeah.
So yes, you know, you have many options now available. And I used to, when I was giving lectures to some MBA students some time back and final year MTech students, and I said, ever in history of humankind, or in this history of this country, it would have been easy to become a millionaire. Maybe this is the time, you know, this is the time, because today if you just start your channel, you become popular and start earning money. I'm like, you have that time compression has happened. So the only way to is the schools are going to play a very, very important role in this context. So when I meet the parents, I tell them we have two people to teach, the students and the parents both, because the parents also have to now be taught to evolve themselves. How to become a coach, how to make the student understand that trust us, what we're telling you, how to really sail them through this. And it's very scary, I'm telling you. The situation is far more scary than you think, because these fresh minds, while it's good they're adopting, but the flip side to it is also immensely dangerous. And they're becoming more loners. They prefer to be on mobile phones or the laptops than playing out and you know, exploring the nature, because that's where it is. When you want to come back, I know a friend whose son, he says I have to drag him out of his room, and on the door it says, "This is my space. Do not come in."
Yeah.
So he's shut down and just coding and comes out. So it's very difficult. So I'm saying this is a dilemma. This is a confusion state. There is no answer.
And yeah, there is moreover, if you talk about this loners and all these things, and there is moreover the influencing power also that we get from the social media. Like what you see, what you like, as our parents say, आप जो देखते हो, आप जो पढ़ते हो, आप वो ग्रहण करते हो. So that is what I guess it is the thing. Like they are using so much of social media, scrolling reels, watching some crap, and then consuming that energy. So that is creating some chaos. And then like parents are literally very like nowadays parents are like, you know, I am not sure about our children, like what is going to happen, because they are also like they all too feel unpredictable about all these segments.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. Time has come where you have to, until the parents don't evolve themselves,
Exactly.
they are not adapted to technology trends, understanding it, and they are not trying to stay ahead of the curve, or not matching the speed of the children. Then I'm saying they have absolutely, they to just trust the God and say that everything goes smooth.
This is happening. Like,
this is happening because you lost the control.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
you have, and you nowadays no parent can just I'm sorry to say this on the camera, but you cannot just slap your child, because he will say कि आपने क्यों मारा मुझे.
So slapping the child anyway is not the solution,
exactly.
because so technically governments in West, the way they work, you can't slap in school or outside the school. But so we do not have that concept. We still have that concept of Gurukul, and this Guru becoming the curfew master, if I have to say that what you have to do. That's not no more the case. But yes, so you have to reason with them. The critical thinkers, they evolved minds. So you maybe evolved wrong or right, but it's evolved for sure. Now you go and tell them, the boss, you'd sit here and stand up and do this and do that. So
this is not going to happen.
This is not going to happen. If the child is repulsive, he may repulse you then and there. If he or she is not repulsive, then it may even lead to more dangerous consequence of falling into depression. So it's so with the glove hands you have to handle the situation today, because I'm telling you, this has become a rudderless. It has good side and it has equally dark sides to it. And you are exposed to no-go areas. India is consuming the highest number of pawns in the world today. Where is it all coming from, and who is the consumers? It is, so we had the other day a cyber security session with the cyber security Haryana police coming to the school, and we had it arranged for the parents, and we gave them, and they gave them a lot of such cases that they're finding how children have gone on some sites where they have malwares loaded, which have then gone into their laptops and mobile phones. Picked up the content out of that, and then so I'm like, I don't want to go on that side, but then there is it, and the parents have to keep the pace, and that is where DPS or DPSG, what we are trying to do is we are trying to bring in that community service, all absolutely free. We want parents guidance centers where we are trying to teach the parents also how to evolve with times, what is that you need to do with your children, how to be better coach than just being parents. And we are trying to train our teachers. We are trying to bring the blended learning in a way that while it helps the child to learn things faster, and this has not to be text and board approach, is going to be more of a coach approach. So that's what it's.
So as you said that parents have to catch the pace, for the involved to get the students involved to that. So similarly, talking about the faculties, like as we have seen that the teachers, because they too do not have that much of knowledge about the technology. So what are some of the key challenges that you must have faced while implementing or taking the initiative of implementing the digital transformation in your school?
So yes, it starts with the teacher or the faculty, as you say, because again they are all people from the same social fabric setup that we are all here. Them to get attuned to the understanding of technology. As I'm saying, you have to run fast, you have to keep pace with the way your students think and where they are. So it takes time, but we have gone in for consistently doing a lot of pilot projects, a lot of pilot classrooms, enabling them, equipping them. So we also follow our kind of we have an R&D center, academic R&D center, as a school. We have a complete department which works from taking things for what is globally best. So we have our own IB school, International Bakule, as a board. We are also into Cambridge, and we are also into CBSE. But for the CBSE students also, we have got it mixed with the globally best evolved academic processes, wherein we are trying to make them more inquiry-based learners, asking them to question us. We are not going to be passive learning, not the rote learning, but do it yourself and learn it yourself, and the teachers becoming coach. So as a process in the academic process is already set into play. It is just now that moving into a more digital side.
Exactly.
So this we have been doing for the last couple of years now, and we have well researched, well established, documented, where we have 3 or 4 batches who pass out of the school with that learning as a background, and that has really shaped the students in a very evolved mind state. Because when you become a critical thinker and evolved thinker in an inquiry-based approach, you are attuned to even question right and wrong.
Exactly.
So you do not get by the flow of the digital content as it is you consume, but you get into a mindset that I'm following what is it right or wrong? Is it a rumor? It's a fake or it's a real?
Yeah.
And if it's a fake, how do I cross-check it? That evolved state of mind will only come when you are able to coach the students in that direction. And that's what we do.
Yeah, exactly. As you said, like taking things from assumption to the facts.
Exactly.
So, like as I have read that you have been working with some of the strongest brands in India and of course the global market, like Times of India, Hutchison, Vodafone, Sharp, Samsung, Huawei and Indus Towers. So, could you share some of the examples of some of the successful digital transformation projects that you have came across or maybe you have been involved in?
Well, digital transformations, if I give you one example which is so alive in the mind, is like I was with Huawei Technologies. When Huawei entered India market was already dominated by to good extent by Chinese players like Oppo, Vivo, and you have a top-notch segment occupied by Samsung and Apple. And that was when online as a marketplace or online as a business contributor was about close to 1% to 2% of the total market size, and it was growing. And by the time Huawei came in, I think it was close to about 25% is already reached at that point in time. And so how to beat the competition, because setting up a business and setting up footprints is not very easy.
Exactly.
So you had a lot of strategies, and one of the strategies which actually worked for us in establishing Honor as a formidable brand and launching it quickly, compressing the time scale to launch, was we went online straight. We launched at the best spec with the best price, made the product popular through digital marketing.
Yeah.
Youth, we got captured, and once it was up and rolling, we beat the competition in a different way, and then the whole offline market started ordering the product from online.
From online, exactly.
So it just we gate crashed the party, and and then everybody knows what the Honor brand is all about.
Exactly.
So I was lucky to be part of the team. I was handling North and East India as a business head, and part of the team which launched it. So it was good. Great experience to be with.
I mean, that's amazing. Like, it has been a wonderful journey. I mean, I guess like it.
Yeah, thankfully so. I had with blessings, I had a fortune, and was very fortunate to get good opportunities to work in, and to get my learning curve, keep enhancing my learning curve. And so I worked with various segments. I've worked with media giants like Times. I've worked with consumer giants, telecom operations, telecom infrastructure rollout, and so on and so forth. Last year I was also doing into consulting into various universities and HEIs in India and outside, into setting up virtual innovation incubation lab, design thinking. So I've taken the challenge head on, and kept my learning curve going. And that's, I think, that I am in a better position when I say, and I tell the parents that, be ahead of time. You have to. If you become stale, complacent, you will not be able to control the times as they are evolving. So to be that, you have to keep pushing yourself.
Learning.
And they say, stay foolish and stay hungry is the name of the book, which I was, that's the case. It's okay to be stupid. It's okay to be ignorant.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I not to be that I don't know everything. I just don't know. It's okay. It's okay. It's not to be knowing anything. It's
exactly.
okay. once you have that, it immediately brings you the sense of comfort. That boss, I do not know, and I'm here to learn. Then your sensory body senses into complete relaxation. Relaxation, and then you kind of get into more of a learning mode.
Exactly.
And that's where I've always followed that philosophy in life.
As you just said that like even if you don't know things, but you're always open to learning things. So that is what I always say to youth, like the upcoming generation, is that you should always have a learning attitude inside yourself. Like even if somebody is coming towards you, and if they say that if you do not have knowledge about that thing or anything, it can be about anything, any industry, any department, you can just say confidently, yes, I don't know about that thing, but I am ready to learn, I am ready to explore that thing, I'm ready to get exposed to that thing. So like what I believe is that learning attitude should be a constant thing in your life.
Yeah, and that's where, as I said, in school what we do, especially in DPSG, follows a very researched pattern of education, which is where evolving learners. We are trying to make lifelong learners, people who, students who would, question things, learn it, and, keep moving ahead of the curve. Because if you keep learning, you'll always be in the best of the time situation.
Exactly. As you said that your parents always made you learn this thing, that you'll get stale if you don't learn. If you are not ready to evolve or grow.
In Hindi they say ठहरा पानी में काई लग जाती है और बहता पानी fresh रहता है, so you have to keep doing that.
So amazing. So this is not my it is the last but not of course the least question. So what role and the technologies have you played in DPSG and all, of course, the director schools in DPSG, if we talk about, in enhancing the learning experience for the students?
Well, as I said, digital transformation itself is a complete tech-based solution. And so beside putting LMS, learning management system, and ERP in place, putting the smart class in place, we are thinking all the time as a management how the schools will be in future, 10 years ahead of time, as any large corporate thinks. Because, all large companies have this R&D which works on how 10 years the marketplace will evolve. We also have a think tank which kind of deliberate and thinks about how in next 10 years we would be and where we will go. So as I said, then we have an academic research department which is continuously researching with the best available in the global order, bringing it and simulating it as pilot testing inside the classes as an experiment, and then rolling it out, and then we're doing it for the last 2-3 years. Additionally, what we do, beside that, we are also evolving a point wherein we are able to do both AI-based data analytics onto the students' data which we have, and predict as to where student learning curve is going up or down, and if it is down, then intervention is the right time. So this is what data analytics is going to help us do that. So we are open to evolving ourselves, experimenting, and learning new.
That's amazing. I mean, it was an amazing conversation that we had.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing the experience, your journey, and all the motivation talks, like a bit of motivation that we were getting in between the conversation, of course. So it was amazing.
You have to always keep yourself motivated. There's in CV, when they ask for the interview, self-motivator.
Exactly.
So,
so thank you so very much for the questions and the answers that we have been getting. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for seeing this till the end. We'll meet next time with next special guest of ours. Thank you so very much.
Have a nice day.